Here is Patrick and Clark, and they're going to go out there and do a session. It's going to be composed of elements of various lessons from the book, including 12, 13, 7, maybe 3. So lots of different pieces here. Now you'll hear a little beep when Patrick pushes the button. This dog works on exceptionally low levels, 3, 4, 5. You can see a little effort on Clark's part there to not jump. It's hard for him. Patrick has dropped that line, so effectively speaking, Clark is loose now. Sorry about the barking from the kennel. There's the sit. We occasionally do a food treat for good boy stuff, like the sit. We want to reward the sit a lot more than the jumping, right? So we would tap a jump and reward a sit more often than not, but we reward very calmly because he's excitable. Now I'm not hearing the beep there, but I think Patrick vibrated the button. I used the vibration button, and that's why, and he's doing a come and a sit. That's why the dog spooked there a little bit, because sometimes if they get stuck on a sniff, we use the vibration to interrupt that, and that can be a little startling, but that might be good for recalling Clark away from a fence line. Especially if there's someone on the other end of it that he wants to bark at. This is looking very nice. This is a little bit of rest where the dog's allowed to move around, have a sniff. Patrick just wants to make sure he's not going to leave. Just hanging out, making sure that if I look at you, you're not gonna jump. Got stuck on the sniff. Patrick called him along. I'm sure Patrick buzzed that lightly on like maybe 3 or 4. We're just not hearing it, so my beeper is not working. But I can tell what he's doing out there. That was the recall. That's part of lesson 7. So this is looking a lot like lesson 13 with elements of lesson 7. 13 is finalizing the off-leash pack walk, and 7 is come when called, which he just tapped the button there and called the dog to him and got the sit. So that's all looking super nice. Now it's much easier here where there are relatively few distractions versus doing this in a crowded place like a dog park, or with a dog barking at him from the other end of the fence, which we're going to practice in the next day or so. But it takes time to build extreme reliability in a very distractible, excitable, excessively happy dog like Clark. Walking all the way back in towards the kennel. Here's the recall, the quick beep. Come here and sit. Good boy. See the tail going? Now he's getting into a sniff, so Patrick's going to try and work him out of that and get the sit, because, hey man, once we ask for that, we really need you to do it. Good boy. There you go. So rather than correct him for that, Patrick helped him. And that's what we do, especially at this stage. I mean, this is kind of remarkable in that this dog has had, I don't know, something like 9 or 10 days of training since he's come in, I believe. Maybe it's 11 now, but it's a lot of progress. Patrick will call him here. You can hear the beep beep. Trying to get that number just correct so that Clark will come off the sniff. Patrick's just adjusting now to figure out what number he needs. And he's going to help him off. Just a little tiny suggestion. Hey, come off of that, buddy. We like to do that with a sensitive dog like Clark, because if you ratchet the number up high, you might get him, but then he might worry about it later. So at this stage, if we run into a problem, rather than going high on the button, we'd rather just help him out there. Good job, guys. Nicely done. That looks like lesson 6 now. Short leash walk. Went great.